Welcome back to LePodcast episode 45. As always, you're here with Hoop, Saney, and the infamous ZZ Huncho. It's NBA Rivals Week. I'm excited for tonight. We got the Knicks playing the Boston Celtics. Had some great games over the last couple of years. The Mavericks play the Suns. Unfortunately, I think Devin Booker's still out, but that's still a fun game. As long as Cam Payne is over there, and you know it's going to be fun. But last night's games, we had the Grizzlies Warriors and the Nets 76ers. Are there any other games you think we should have had? Saney.
Real quick. We're recording this on a Thursday, so two nights ago, if you're listening to this episode, the day it came out, because we recorded.
Yeah, that's on
me.
Post. My fault.
There was one confusion I had, and I don't know anything about NBA scheduling in terms of like the flights, and I understand guys have to travel and stuff. Maybe it didn't make sense. Why the hell did the Trailblazers play the Jazz and the Thunder play the Hawks and not have those teams match up together, the Thunder and the Trailblazers? Because that's a rivalry right there. I don't know why they didn't have the Trailblazers play the Thunder, but I mean that's the only issue I had, I guess.
I agree. You literally had Trailblazers Thunder. Dame is single-handedly responsible for the destruction of the Thunder's just franchise after that shot. So it makes logical sense. I feel like the Thunder fans all across the world, including Saney, are still, reeling from that 4 years later, but whatever. Everything else, though, for Rivals Week is like cool. Saney mentioned before the show about the Warriors and the Grizzlies rivalry, about how the media just forces it. And it really, I don't know if it's the media forcing it or the Grizzlies.
I don't think they're forcing anything.
That they've won 5 championships.
Bro, what's his name? Dylan
Really?
Brooks clocked Gary Payton II. He clocked him last playoffs. And then John Morant goes on to say, unless you're saying that not Taylor Rooks, what's her name? Malika Andrews. No, Taylor Rooks isn't like the interviewer.
Oh. You said Taylor, and I thought
Malika Andrews. Unless you think she was instigating Ja by Ja saying, "Oh, we're fine with the West." Like that's all player initiated. That's not media initiated.
Listen to this. I have some faults in your argument. Number one, would you say the Bucks and the Bulls have a rivalry?
Nah.
Okay,
no.
Grayson Allen destroyed Caruso.
That's different.
How is it different?
Because Grayson Allen does not open his mouth like that. That's completely different, bro. Have you seen John Morant on Twitter? Have you seen John Morant on Twitter?
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. The Grizzlies don't just do that to the Warriors. They do that to everybody. They're a team that's known for being corny. It's only the media only shines light on it when it's against the Warriors. They do that to everybody. Literally every team that tries to compete with them.
Dylan Brooks has not killed someone in every team. That's the difference
Grizzlies
there.
So here's my thing. I feel like the Grizzlies and the Warriors, people are pointing to the only reason people say that it's a rivalry is because they had a playoff series together. Had they not had a playoff series together, they'd still call it a rivalry. The same way that I would say, if you're going to call the Warriors and Grizzlies a rivalry, call the Grizzlies and Lakers a rivalry. Then I guess something always happens.
Rivalry,
a
rivalry
Uncle Shay
is when two teams battle it out and they go back and forth. The Warriors have won in every
single case. It's
not
a rivalry,
case.
it's beef.
In every single case. It's not even beef.
Yes, it is.
It's the Memphis Grizzlies.
It's not a rivalry, but it's beef.
No, it's not beef because it's beef if they're going back and forth. But if you're winning constantly,
have you not seen Klay Thompson
let me finish.
Dylan Brooks? They don't like each other.
Let me finish. It's not beef. It's the equivalent of a little kid tugging on your leg, asking if you have games on your phone, okay? Because it is not a competition here. The Warriors destroy the Grizzlies every time they play. That's just, it's a simple fact. I'm not trying to hate on the Grizzlies. They're a great young team. But a Warriors team who has, Z, you can back this up, that have been struggling all season. They're 500 right now. They're 24-24, correct? After that win against the Grizzlies. They were negative going into that game. They're known to have a bad season, and they still haven't lost against the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies are the second seed. And they also beat the Grizzlies last season in the playoffs. And they're also destroying the Grizzlies every time they see them. And this isn't the only time the Warriors have owned the Grizzlies. Do you guys not remember 2015, 2016, every year that they played them in the playoffs? I have never seen the Grizzlies win a game against the Warriors other than a playoff series, but they lose that playoff series. That's just the reality of it. How is this beef? How is this a rivalry? That's what blows my mind. People put so much attention on it. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting hundreds of dollars on the Warriors every time they play a light blue jersey. Every time.
But to say...
Oh, and here's the thing. I'm putting half that money on Klay Thompson going stupid because here's the thing. I told Hoop on the phone earlier. I was like, if the Klay Thompson looks across the court and sees the Memphis Grizzlies, I don't give a damn if Klay Thompson shoots 40 shots. I'm going to live with it because Klay's got legit beef with them.
So they have beef.
No, but in your point, by the way, Klay Thompson does that to a lot of people.
All right, hold on. But it's clear as day that when the Warriors play the Grizzlies, it's like that meme when that one dude's like playing 2K and he's like sitting back in his chair and then it's like, oh, the fourth quarter comes, then he like sits forward. That's what the Warriors do against the Grizzlies. Yeah. They actually they take it more personally than any other matchup. This is not going to San Antonio and playing the Spurs. It's completely different.
I understand the aspect of it is beef, but the reason I don't call it beef, I would rather call it an ownership. Like that's what I see.
Oh, sure. But there is something there.
They hate each other for sure.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
For me, beef is like the Warriors and the Cavs, where it's like they're going back and
that's what I'd call a rivalry.
It's an equal fight.
I look at it,
would you say if a 30-year-old beat up a 10-year-old, are you going to call it beef? Are you going to call it beef? Or are you going to call it an unfair abomination? There's a difference here, right?
Right. I look at it like the Warriors are the landlords and the Grizzlies are their tenants, and every single time they show up to Chase Center, rent's due.
And the Grizzlies are a bunch of squatters. They're a bunch of squatters when it comes to the Warriors. They're squatters.
And right, bro. Like, think about it. We can point to all these games where the Grizzlies have been at full health, better than the Warriors. I think when they look at Christmas Day as a prime example. And Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins gone, and you mean to tell me that game they were supposed to beat the Warriors by 30, 40. Like I was even scared. I was like, yeah, I don't even want to watch it. And then Jordan Poole goes berserk, Klay goes berserk. And then you get all the way to this one. Steph gets ejected with a minute 15 left. They're down one, and you still lose because 4 players want to go on guard Klay Thompson on an inbounds play.
Call me crazy for saying this, by the way. I want to say this one more thing before we move on to our next topic. If things keep up the same way they are with the Warriors, and what I mean by that, the pacing and how they win games in the regular season, they should make the playoffs. And if they win that first matchup in the play-in, the Grizzlies are a first-round exit. The Grizzlies become a first-round exit because they would have to see the Warriors. If the Grizzlies face the Warriors in the first round, the Grizzlies are a first-round exit. I truly believe that.
I'm not trying to instigate. Like, have they played in Memphis yet? When they've matched up, I know on Christmas Day they played in Golden State, and Golden State's been a very good home team.
I don't believe they have
played in Memphis.
My only issue is that I know John Morant was hurt for part of the Memphis series. Part of the Golden State series in the playoffs. He showed up the one full game I watched, which I believe was game 1. Not someone who's like Z was saying earlier, he doesn't hit open threes. He was on it that night. And he's someone who's going to show up. So if they're going to play in Memphis 4 times instead of, Golden State playing there 4 times, if Golden State still
they'll play there twice. Sweet. Bring the broom.
All right, then.
You remember when Steph hit that half-court shot? One of Steph's most recognizable half-court shots was in Memphis in 2015. Like
didn't he do that twice, or was that against another team where he did it again?
I'm sorry. Yes, he's done it. He's done it 3 times.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Curry in Memphis. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not even a Curry lover. You guys know me. I'm gonna be honest. Like I have to side with Z here. It's not like they could play in Memphis for all 7 games in the 7-game series. I'm taking the Warriors.
Wow.
I'm taking the Warriors, bro. Curry against I grew up in the prime of Stephen Curry. If you put Stephen Curry against the Memphis Grizzlies, I don't care what team they have. Something about Memphis and Steph Curry don't mix well. That's done. It's wraps. Don't even think about it. The Grizzlies better hope. They better pray to God that they get like a Suns or a Timberwolves matchup or something in the first round, and they get to avoid the Warriors because the Warriors have to get beat by the Sacramento Kings.
I know this is kind of off topic. We weren't planning on going this route, but we're talking about these other possible matchups. I want to talk about the landscape of the league right now, specifically the West. The Nuggets are 1 at 34-15. Them and the Grizzlies are kind of running away with it. Then you got the Kings, who are solidified at 3 at 27-20. Then from the 4 spot to the 13 spot, they are separated by, I believe, 3 games. The Pelicans are 8 behind the lead, and the Lakers at 13 are 11 behind the lead. These teams in this mix, the Pelicans, the Clippers, the Mavericks, the Suns, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, the Jazz, the Thunder, the Trailblazers, and the Lakers. Who are more likely to fall to the bottom and who are more likely to raise to the top, in your opinion? Just offer it.
Jazz.
Bro, what if they want to win, bro? What if they want to win?
The thing is, I don't want to say the Thunder because the Thunder have been red hot lately. They have the Thunder, by the way, you guys got to watch out. If it's not this season, it's next season. They're looking tough. I don't even know.
Are the Lakers? What about the Lakers? That's where they want to talk about.
I think the Lakers make the playoffs this season. I'm not gonna lie because I think they're gonna make a lot of moves this deadline. And AD's coming back. AD did come back. Sorry, and they won. And he played great in the 26 minutes. He played at 21 and 12.
Yeah, they're starting to put out a roster. It's Schroeder. I don't know who'd be it, but you get LeBron, Rui. If not Rui, then Rui's off the bench, and they're just plugging in like a 3-and-D. AD and Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant has been hooping.
He's insane. And one thing people don't want to talk about, by the way, I know. Should we just transition into the trade stuff?
If we want to. Last thing I want to say is Kawhi's been balling too. I think the Clippers are very scary. Kawhi's been yeah. Kawhi's I'm telling you, they got to be careful with him. They got to sit him out once every 5 games. Just let him ride and the playoffs go, and then turn on the robot.
Let's finish the rivalry stuff real quick before we head on to the trade stuff. I know Z wanted to talk about the
Benjamin.
If you don't want to talk about Memphis and Warriors, the other biggest game was the Nets Sixers. Even though KD wasn't playing, was an absolute fire game.
So, ladies and gentlemen, ZZ Huncho proudly presents to you a new segment called A Word with ZZ Huncho. Now, this segment will be dedicated to NBA content that I've analyzed over the course of the previous 24 hours, maybe 48. But Ben Simmons, I've been thinking about this, and I need to ask y'all this question. When we look at Ben Simmons, when I look at Ben Simmons at least, I look at him and I see a guy that walked into the league very, very hyped up to be something like a LeBron James. That was what they were at least comparing him to, the second chosen one or whatever. I know he was wearing the king outfit and all that in the Sports Illustrated covers, but then he gets to the league, he's out for his first year, comes back in his sophomore year, wins Rookie of the Year, which now is probably going to be looked at controversially as to people who think that Donovan Mitchell should have run it, like me, but whatever. His usage rate for me was something that I found very staggering. That was the highest that it had ever been. I think it was at like 21 point something percent. But that was his usage rate in Philly his second year. Then we get to eventually Jimmy gets there, his usage rate plummets. Right? And then when you really think about it, it's like, how useful is Ben Simmons in a half-court offense where he doesn't have the ball and it's being ran through not him, but Jimmy Butler and or Joel Embiid. So Ben Simmons is just stuck looking like a 6'10" big man.
Boris Diaw without the jumper.
Can't
he
facilitate.
Just keeps the offense flowing with a pass.
That's
literally it.
Either that or Matisse Thybulle. If you take Ben Simmons, if you take him away from the top of your offense and running and things like of that nature, if you put Ben Simmons in Detroit and you say, okay, here you go, Ben, we're just gonna throw you out there and just give you a bunch of guys. And I'm using this as a hypothetical. I'm not saying Detroit has shooters, but say they just throw them in a wasteland city like Detroit, and they're like, hey, here's a bunch of shooters. I need you to get the rebound, go out there, run down the court, and kick it out to guys when the defense, drives in inevitably when you're going into the paint. Now you can kick it out to a bunch of shooters. But he's in Brooklyn, so he can't really be the facilitator because Kyrie and KD don't do that. They don't just sit in a corner and just wait for the ball. They're ISO scorers. They orchestrate their offense. The offense runs through the ball when it's in their hands. So when I think about that, I'm thinking to myself, is it really Ben Simmons' fault for his struggles, for ending up being a glorified role player with all-star level defense and all-star level playmaking? Is it his fault, or is it really he hasn't really had a system or long enough? Because think back, when Joel got hurt in 2017, you remember when Philly went on like a 17-game win streak at the end of the season and Ben Simmons had that 42-point game in Utah? Like, we got to see glimpses of this with Joel being out and Ben Simmons being the focal point of not necessarily the offense, but just orchestrating it. And we got to see good games like that. He was averaging like 17 a game during that stretch. It was incredible. So I'm thinking to myself, if Ben Simmons is in another situation outside of Philly, outside of Brooklyn, if he's all alone, not really all alone, but all the pressure's off of him because nobody's really expecting him to do anything. Nobody's expecting him to win a playoff series for a team that hasn't been to the finals since 2001. Nobody's expecting him to help Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. if he's in a different situation, do y'all think that we see a different Ben Simmons
No.
or
Ben Simmons
more
will
of
never.
the same?
I think it's too late for him to revitalize his career.
I'm not saying that only because I've seen Brook Lopez completely become a new basketball player late in his career. So hope is not lost, but it's very dim. It's very dim.
The difference between Brook Lopez, though, is that he didn't get a max contract and was seen as a superstar and fell off the face of the earth and then, like, had a huge ego hit, you know what I mean? And then also sat out and complained and whined a bunch. See, there's a difference with a player who just falls out of his prime and has to change his style to stay within the league. But Brook Lopez looks like he wants to stay in the league. That's the difference. Brook Lopez went from being a dominant center to a 7-foot guy that stays on the perimeter because he got older and he can't keep up with other big men in the paint. So what did he do? He decided to stretch the floor more. He decided to be able to create more space for a guy like Giannis, and he's the perfect, pairing on that Milwaukee team. The difference with Ben Simmons is we've seen this guy literally whine and complain after he made a mistake in a playoff series. And listen, I'm not going to go with the guy because I know, like, mental health or whatever. Like, I'm not hating on him, whatever. But I'm just saying there's a difference with a guy who's getting paid max dollar money to sit out games or let the slightest injury keep him out for an extended period of time, stay on the court. And he went scoreless in the first half. Correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't start scoring until the second half of that game. Was not aggressive at all. Was missing wide open layups. See, that's the difference I have with Ben Simmons compared to guys like who you just brought up, Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez, sure, he fell off a little when he went to the Lakers, but then that's when he decided to revitalize his career. Ben Simmons fell off in the midst of what was supposedly supposed to be his prime. That's the difference with him.
Another thing too that I, take into account when I look at the situation is Ben Simmons literally has like this complex about him where it seems like he's content with, like I said, just being a role player. And like, if you really think about it, for a player of his caliber that had the expectations that he did have, to be in this scenario where you're like in Brooklyn and you have a legit shot to make a run, you know what I'm saying? Like in the playoffs, a deeper run, maybe even back to the conference finals. But the difference is that you have KD and Kyrie Irving who are out there as your primary offensive weapons. Ben Simmons is not an offensive weapon. His playmaking is great, but I think that's in large part due to that's the only thing that he does. Like if he has the ball, he's not going to look to shoot. And I think teams are starting to really pick up on that. It's different than a situation with a Draymond Green, because Draymond Green can choose not to shoot, but that's not to say that if he shoots the ball, he's not going to make it. He isn't prone to hit a corner three here and there or a floater, or he's going to read the defense and get past somebody, cut back door, things like that. He's looking to just make the best offensive play. That's the difference between a Draymond Green type of guy and a Ben Simmons type of guy. Like Draymond's like, I can get a three if I work it at this angle, or I can get Looney on a backdoor cut, Kuminga on a backdoor cut, things like that. Simmons is just like, if I have the ball, oh my God, I'm looking to score. That's the last thing I want to do with the basketball. Like, it looks like it physically hurts him to think about shooting,
I just don't
which is a problem for
understand
me.
that as the Brooklyn Nets in Ben Simmons' first game, just please shoot the ball from 3 10 times. I don't care if you miss all 10, just shoot the ball. He's taken 1 3 the entire season. How is this allowed? It's like he does not want to be good at basketball.
Disgusting.
How do you take if he had a serviceable jump shot, he would be on the tier of an all-star.
Right.
A serviceable jump shot.
And I told Hoop,
he's literally a jump shot away of being.
Bro,
like,
he could shoot
reserve.
30%. He could shoot 30% from 3.
Literally, Russell Westbrook does it, and we praise him. Like, damn. Oh, sorry.
Speaking of Russell Westbrook and the Lakers, baby. It looks like man, Westbrook might be a Spur soon, and I'm losing hair. As you could tell, I had really long hair a couple episodes ago. This is a result of it falling out. But I don't know if you guys have seen in the news. Obviously, the Lakers are making big deals. Roy Hachimura, huge. They're finals contenders now.
No, hold on, because real talk. So they gave up, I believe it was none in 2 seconds. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Is that not a fleece?
Yep. No, that's insane.
And hold up, but also, if you're Silver, like, why do we allow this kind of stuff to happen? I know it's because the Wizards don't want to pay him and Kuzma, but to give someone this ridiculous bargain strictly because you don't want to lose him in free agency, do you think that should be allowed? Because that was a ridiculous trade.
I don't think it was. I don't think it's as ridiculous as you're making it out to be, to the point where it should have been vetoed. Roy Hachimura has not improved since his rookie season. He's had consistently the same exact numbers, 13 points per game for his career. I used to watch the Wizards because Westbrook was there. He was a great, he's a great starter / role player to have on your team, but that all-star star potential, I got to see a lot more of what he has to offer before I start putting him in that conversation. So I think you're stretching it out a little too much in terms of.
I'm talking less about this trade specifically
sense.
Because I would not have vetoed this trade. But let's say there's
Okay.
another. I'm talking about the concept of making a bad. We can talk
Like
about
a Rudy
that.
Gobert
I'm talking
trade?
about making a bad deal strictly because you don't want to have to pay him or let him walk. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's as bad as you think.
No,
because
I'm saying
Nunn
in general,
is
like
a
the
solid.
concept.
No, I understand the concept. Yeah, sure. But like it really depends, right? Because well, think about it this way: from the Wizards' side, because you came up with the idea why, because you think this trade is a major fleece, right? And when looking at it, what the Lakers get, you're right. Like the Lakers won the trade for sure. But let's look at it from another standpoint. The Wizards, who are lacking in guards and are forward heavy right now, right? Kuzma, Porzingis, Hachimura. There was no space for him on that team, and he's gonna want a big payday, or at least like not max contract money, of course, but he's gonna want in like the 10 million range, right? And the Wizards aren't gonna give him that. You get a guy like Kendrick Nunn who's going to be able to prove himself on this mid franchise, and you also get 2 seconds along with him, which could be used as trade assets. You never know what deals are going to want to pull. Bradley Beal still being on that team is ridiculous. But I don't think I know a lot of people are like,
second
oh, the
round
Lakers
picks.
fleeced them, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, the Lakers won the trade, but I don't think it was as bad for the Wizards as people are making it out to be. They're trying to keep cap space for guys like Kuzma when they want to re-sign, guys like Porzingis who have been playing good. You got a guy like Kendrick Nunn who's worth nothing right now, and there's only upside to him because you're not going to make the playoffs, let's be honest. So you might as well let this guy ball out. He was 12, 4 and 4 in 20 minutes in his first Wizards game, by the way. Like he had a great game.
None was good. I believe it was on the Heat. Like he was a good player.
Yeah, right. So you're kind of letting this guy come in as like a prove him type player. It's the same thing what the Thunder did, where you'll bring in a guy who has no value anymore and you boost his value. Chris Paul, Kemba Walker, Al Horford. They did that with a lot of players, Derek Favors, and where you trade him for more pieces, more assets. I think that's what the Wizards are going for here because it's a really high reward, low risk type situation because you're going to lose Hachimura in the free agency anyway. From the Lakers standpoint, I think that trade kind of tells me they're in a win now situation because they're giving up their draft picks finally, which is great because you're like, that's all you can really do as the Lakers franchise. I think Jeannie Buss listens to our podcast because we've been saying that for the past 10 episodes. And speaking of win now, I was speaking about this to the guys just before we started the episode, how the Lakers right now are giving me 2018 Cavs vibes, where the only untouchable player is LeBron James and Anthony Davis now, obviously. I think if the deal was right, though, they would get rid of AD. I'm not going to lie. If the deal was right, they would trade AD. But I don't think they're going to get a right deal. So I'm going to say AD and LeBron are untouchable. Everybody on that roster has a 50-50 chance of not being on that roster come the trade deadline. Russell Westbrook has been big in Spurs talks. Hoop mentioned the fact that they're probably going to trade for Pirtle. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I was assuming if it is a Spurs trade, it would be Jakob Pertl and like a Doug McDermott, someone like that.
Yeah, and which would make sense, honestly, because the Spurs want every chance they can get to lose now. They would probably buy out Westbrook so they have a bunch of cap space going into free agency next season, whatever, right? I also, which this one surprised me, Lonnie Walker is heavy in trade talks as well. I thought he was a good piece for the Lakers. It looks like he might be on the go. They're thinking of trading, and this was a weird, I think it was Malik Beasley. They're looking into that. But I kind of want to ask, is it too, like, if the Lakers do, let's say they make a huge roster change, and on paper they look great, but you guys also have to factor in, like, working with a whole new team halfway through a season and then trying to make the playoffs in the position the Lakers are in. This isn't the Cavs where it's the East in 2018 and you know you're going to make the playoffs no matter what. Is this the right move for the Lakers?
It's different from 2018. I'm assuming 2018 was the year when they start off with like Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade. That's the one? Yeah. But I think this is different from 2018, but because
Jay
instead of
Crowder.
having LeBron and the gang, it's LeBron and AD in the gang. And those are guys that at the peak of their powers are 2 top 10 players in the league. And in a Western Conference, which is in a jumble right now, you can make it out of the West. I see an opportunity for them to make it out of the West. The hard part is playing in the finals against a healthy Celtics, a healthy Bucks, a healthy, probably not the Sixers, but you get the point. But anything can happen because, basketball is very injuries determine the outcomes a lot of times. So maybe the cards fold the Lakers' way for once, and I think you definitely got to try it when you got a squad that's definitely playing well right now.
I agree. I think that when I look at the Lakers as a whole, and I look at them, like I was talking to Hoop about this the other day. Uh, when I look at the 2020 Lakers, that was the blueprint of success to win a championship. And when I look back at them, I look at the fact that they had a lot of areas covered for when you look at 3-and-D guys, 3-point shooters, defensive guys, rebounders after AD goes out, and I mean literally out of the game, like Dwight Howard. You have facilitators like Rondo that could do the things that LeBron does on the facilitation end. You had guys like Caruso who could play extreme level defense. So from there, we go all the way to here, and it just seems like over time they've lost a lot of the things, the small things that make up a great, not even championship team, but a contending team, because they got so focused on the fact that you have AD and you have LeBron James. Like Sandy said, they're untouchable, which is fair, whatever. Like Sandy said, though, if the right deal was there, AD would be gone, because those injuries, it's piling up. And I feel like as the front office, Genie especially, is kind of like, if we can get rid of him for something else, sure. But at the same time, you look at all the other guys that are there. Russell Westbrook is now on the trading blocks for maybe San Antonio, and Jakob is a fair pick, like fair guy to go for, I guess. Even for Anthony Davis standards, if you look at it, like LeBron's not getting any younger, and Anthony Davis's knees are on life support, so it's a fair choice. But when I look at other teams, though, other than the Lakers, because I'm trying to see like other teams that are already kind of there in terms of playoff contention, what they're trying to do to kind of flip the switch a little bit, like the Warriors or the Suns. Like, think about it. Jay Crowder thinks that he's Kevin Durant, so he thinks that he's untouchable. He thinks that you're gonna trade him for he's probably worth 240s maybe. I don't know, but he's not the guy that he thinks that he is. So. But meanwhile, Phoenix wants, I don't know if y'all saw this, but I follow NBA in depth, and they told me that they pulled this up. It says Phoenix wants 3 of the following things for a deal for a guy like Jay Crowder: a first-round pick, either that or a good young player, or a good solid rotation player.
First-round pick?
Right? A first-round
Jay
pick.
Crowder?
A first-round pick.
What are we talking
for
about?
Jay Crowder, bro. For Jay Crowder. What do you mean? What universe are we on right now? So when I think about like trade ideas, trade scenarios for today's league and what the front offices are really thinking, I'm not going to be surprised by a lot of trades, especially when I look back over the offseason with that Rudy Gobert trade. 7 first-round picks? Are you kidding me right now? And for something that you knew was like, I feel like if you're a GM, you weigh out pros and cons for any trade proposal that gets brought on the table. If you mean to tell me that I got Jay Crowder right here, and he's coming in here talking about negotiations, and he's like, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? I think that I'm worth some first-round picks. I'm going to be like, Jay, I will put you on the street right now and
remember,
and close the door.
Marijuana is legal in Arizona, so there's a lot that could explain the.
Right. There you go. There you go. Jay must be a heavy hitter.
No. Jay's not the one who comes up with his own trade packages. I'm talking about Robert Sarver doesn't own them anymore. Whoever's owning them. Wait, somebody just bought the Phoenix Suns, right? Somebody just bought the Phoenix Suns, right? Oh, yeah, he's a newbie. He don't know what's going on. He's just trying to get anything. He thinks he's playing my GM.
3 first-round picks for Jay Crowder.
He thinks he's playing my GM with no hard cap or nothing, bro. He's going to do whatever he wants, bro. Let him do it.
Oh, that's crazy. But like I said, just looking around like the landscape of the league and then trying to let me revert this back to the Los Angeles Lakers. What certain teams have the ability to do things that the Los Angeles Lakers don't have the ability to do. And that's partly because in the last 4 years, since they won a championship, 3.5, they've put themselves consistently in just terrible situations or just like quicksand almost. They're just sinking. Like taking on Russell Westbrook's contract in and of itself is
the Melo, Dwight, DeAndre Jordan roster was crazy. That was
right, bro. And just, you There was a lineup one time of Ray John, Rondo, and Russell
Bro, they
Westbrook
were
on the court at
definitely
the
in
same
some
time. And I'm
Black
just like,
Ops run.
what are you
You see
doing?
those? Like, we're in that New York City gym, and he's like, "Hey, Melo, come play for LA this year."
Exactly. And this is the thing. I think a Melo coming there wasn't even that bad of an
No,
idea. But
yeah.
if you have the right team
Yeah.
around it to make
He
him
should be
actually
on
have
a
a
roster
significant
still.
role for a crunch time player or something, he should. He should. I'm mad that he's not. I just don't know who wants to deal with 13 points a game and no defense
He
and,
was an
and weak knees.
whatever.
But it's
I'm not gonna-
somewhere.
I'm not gonna fight it.
It's
I'm not
somewhere.
Nah,
gonna
you
fight
I
took
know
it
it's
back because you
somewhere.
know it's not true, dog. Don't even say that.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you were about to say Melo's an underrated defender last season.
He was. He gave effort. He was not a great defender, but he tried
For $1 million,
significantly harder.
I'll try too for $1
Bro,
million.
he's like 37.
Okay, I'm 41. What are you, or 21?
We wanted to get into some other recent trades that have turned sour. But before I do that, we were talking about the Wizards before and their roster construction and that they can't pay everyone. I want to ask you guys a question. Their quote unquote big three, also quote unquote the mid three, it's Kyle Kuzma, Bradley Beal, and Kristaps Porzingis. In theory, that's a really good core. Comparing that to the Knicks, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, which are you taking? If the names are just there from a talent perspective.
I'm taking the Wizards.
I was about to say.
I'm taking the Wizards. I think the Knicks are just built better, like with the guys around them.
I also think they just play better together. RJ Barrett, to me, is significantly the worst player out of the six. But I would go as far to say that probably Randall and Brunson are maybe the two best. Who's over
I'd
him?
say this season.
I don't even know, man.
I'm not
don't even
taking
know.
Brad Beal over.
think
I don't know if I take Brad Beal over Jalen Brunson. I'll be straight up.
I agree.
I don't think
agree
that's
Julius
ridiculous.
Randle, I agree Julius
ridiculous.
Randle's the best out of the bunch. Brad Beal is having one of his most efficient seasons scoring wise. And with two other
look at
co-stars
Jalen,
beside
bro.
him,
Look at Jalen, bro. He's
Jalen's
like
a little bit of a ball hog. That's my issue with him.
we saw one game, dude. He's not.
No, but I've been watching the Knicks since. I've been watching the Knicks
He's-
game since.
The Knicks.
I like the Knicks because I watched them in person.
in
It's a
crunch
bias
time.
thing.
A lot of times it works out.
Sure. I'm just saying Bradley Beal,
I mean,
like
fair.
I believe he's gone up like 6% from his career average in terms of let me double. Yeah, like
Brunson
Bradley
right
Beal's
now
shooting
is
52%
Brunson
from the
right now
field.
is 22-6 on 47, 40, 85. Like he's
Bradley Beal's 22-5 on 42.
So
or 52%, 52% from the field.
but he's not playmaking at all.
20. What Jalen
He
Brunson
never
has 6
does.
assists. Bradley Beal has 5.
Bradley Beal is not this like,
Neither is Jalen Brunson.
but because the Knicks have less people to rely on. It's
I
pick
think-
and pop
I'd
to
say Brunson
KP.
is-
If you watch if
If they have less to rely on,
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson's stats should look nicer.
Bradley Beal only passes
Bradley
to you
Beal
when he
has
likes
the
you.
same
Like, I don't-
stats.
I don't-
Bradley Beal has the same stats on less chances a game. That's my point.
I found it so
I think
hilarious when
I think you're too quick. I think you're too quick to put Jalen Brunson over Bradley
Well,
Beal. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I don't know. Bradley.
I'll
Beal
take
has not
Julius
done
Randle.
much, but
I'll take Julius Randle. I'm not taking. I'll take Bradley Beal still over.
that's
Jalen
fair.
Brunson.
That's fair. It's definitely close. But I
It's
find
close.
it.
Oh, I'm not. It's not a
Yeah,
ridiculous
yeah,
statement.
yeah.
It's not ridiculous.
It's funny to me when you see those clips of Bradley Beal talking to those AAU teams, and it's like, man, you don't know what it takes to win.
I was
You don't know
just
what it
thinking-
takes to win. And the comments are
I
all,
was
bro, you
just
just
thinking
sold your
about that.
soul to Washington.
Bro, on God, he turned Washington into an AAU team. He literally turned Washington into an AAU franchise. It's just, if you want to watch Bradley Beal score the basketball, come watch the Wizards play basketball. It's that simple. If you may not see wins, we don't really care about the outcome of the game as long as he had 30 plus.
Y'all don't know
that's
what it
you
takes
came
to win
see.
in the
That's
league,
the
man.
nation.
You know what trips me out about Jalen
Bradley
Brunson?
Beal.
What?
I
What?
never think of him in a Mavericks jersey.
I think it's a completely different player.
It's a completely,
It's a completely
different
different player. First off, he's never
It's a
wore his
completely
hair
different
in
player
an
in
afro
Luka's
as a Nick.
shadow.
It's always
Yeah,
been those
like
box
he's
braids.
Yeah,
But yeah,
He was in Luka's shadow. What do you
that's so
expect?
true, man. That's actually so true, bro. Luka needs to start learning.
he's
to play
had
beside co-stars.
he's had a very nice career arc though, Jalen Brunson. From proving
Villain arc
himself
too.
into being a very good playoff performer now to having like a significantly better role. I think he could turn into a guy. I mean, in this league, it's really tough, but he could end his career with like 4 All-Stars. I wouldn't be surprised. He's just a winner.
Fair.
I think I agree he will be an all-star. I think 4 might be a little too much.
It's tough in today's league.
Because he's already 26. That's my issue with him.
Yeah.
He's already 26.
That's
Like,
fair.
if he were to make 4, it would have to be 4 straight
He'd
years,
also
'cause after
have
his
to
30s,
have like more
Yeah.
rain. Like if Julius is still going to be there, they have to pick one or the other. And it's whatever.
He would have to be an all-star in every single
Yeah.
year of this contract he's in right now for him
That's
to have
true.
4. Because
That's true.
it's going to be very hard once he turns 30.
Over under, I'll say 2 or 1.5. Over under.
No, 2. Yeah. No, he'll
Fair.
get one this season. If he doesn't get one this season, that's ridiculous. I'll be honest.
It's
Like, he should be an
tough
all-star this
because
season.
I don't think they're going to give both Julius and Jalen. I don't think they'll do that. I don't think the fans vote either of them.
They'll definitely end up
I think
giving it. If they have to choose
if you're
between
on the
Julius
Knicks,
and
Madison
Jalen,
Square
they're
Garden, I
picking
see no
Julius.
issue with giving 2 New Yorkers. I don't see.
I don't see an issue with it either, but the coaches I don't think are going to pick 2 because you got Kyrie, who's definitely going to be in there if he's not fan voted in. Jaylen Brown is absolutely going, and this is just from the guards' perspective. I believe Harden will be in there. Trae Young, if the Hawks seem to be like on the right edge of things, and he was someone I thought could actually be omitted, but he'll probably make it only because
Jalen
stats.
Brunson won't make it. Never mind. He's not even in the top 10 for voting.
Well, I don't think the
Regards.
voting matters for the bench. I think it's all coach selections for the reserves.
I thought the coaches select from a certain amount of players that were voted in.
It may be.
I thought that's what it was. Like, you
anyways,
choose from
I'm
the
just
top 10.
I'm just hoping for one. I really hope it's
Anyway.
Julius,
Now
but
that I'm looking at it too, they're listing DeRozan as a guard this season as well. So
is what it is.
All right, we should
Yeah.
move on. We should move on.
Hoop, you wanted to mention the trade stuff?
Yeah, we were talking before how because I have Walker Kessler on my fantasy basketball team. He is like, I don't want to say the splitting image of, but he does a lot of the same things that Rudy Gobert does in terms of being a very good rim protector. He's very athletic. He could run the court more so than Gobert. He's more controlled in like his body. He just looks more athletic. He's a good finisher around the rim, good lob threat. But it's funny how the Grizzlies trade package, I have it pulled up. Not the Grizzlies, the Wolves. The Jazz got Malik Beasley, Pat Bev, this guy Bolmero, not sure who he is, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, and 4 firsts and a 2026 pick swap. I believe that was the entire package. That is ridiculous considering that Walker Kessler, their rookie who they could have had, could have done the same exact thing to a very similar extent. They could have seen the project not work there and then say, oh, we don't need this tall rim protector next to Karl Anthony Towns. They could have seen it work with the rookie. Also, considering that Rudy Gobert is not on the same timeline as Anthony Edwards. If they're in a win now mode, I don't know if Ant's ready. Ant has had a very underrated year. I think he's progressing very nicely. He could be an all-star this year. Especially with, I believe, Cat's been out the last couple of weeks, and he's really had to pull through as a first option. He's done really well. But I just think looking back on it, we knew it was a bad trade at first. I don't think it's just, I think it's a horrible front office decision. We knew it at the time. We know it now. It's just awful.
It is. I agree with you in everything you said, except for the fact that Anthony Edwards will be an all-star. I don't think he's an all-star this season. There's too much talent in the guard spot for the Western Conference.
Would they list him as a forward though?
No, it's a guard. He's a guard.
Oh,
because he plays in the backcourt with like when do you?
Well, I know because I know they do DeRozan as like whatever they want to put him.
It's even less of a chance. If he's a forward, it's even less of a chance because you have to make it over LeBron, Jokic. You have to make it over one of these guys: LeBron, Jokic, Anthony Davis, Zion, Paul George, Lauri Markkanen. Like, it's too much.
I'm thinking of Booker's spot. Who fills
Booker's
that?
Booker spots. I would take De'Aaron Fox over Anthony Edwards this
See,
season.
that's that. If they're taking
Lillard, I would take Damian Lillard over
Dame
Anthony
too. Yeah, no,
Whoa.
never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying no. I thought
No.
you were,
I
disagreeing
was
me.
saying with Fox. If
He
I was
forgot
saying
he
with
dropped
Fox,
60
if they're
last
putting
night.
Sabonis in there, I could see if the Wolves win a couple of games and they come 5th in the East. I could see them voting Edwards over Fox, but not over Lillard.
And also
The
you got to
trade-
remember, man. Like,
Could Dame be an all-star like wild card?
yeah,
That
he will
is
be.
nuts.
If he is
he's
an all-star,
gonna-
it's a
he's
wild
just
card.
Bro,
He's
his
Dame.
stats are nuts this year.
If he's a wild card, if he's an all-star,
Yeah.
it's a wild card. By the way, he doesn't make it as a because I'm telling you right now, the guaranteed 4 guard spots. I've said this multiple times. Curry and Luke are the starters. Ja and Shea are the bench. There's no arguing that. There's
There
no
could
arguing
be
that.
though. Dame is averaging over 30 points now with that 60-point game, bro.
Yeah, no, but Shea
think
and-
about it. Think about it. The Blazers are in a very similar situation as the Thunder in terms of their record. Like
I think the media is on Shea's side.
I think
She's on Shea's side.
I don't know, man.
Shea's
I think they were to start because he was hot.
But think about it this way: Damian Lillard was out for a month.
Think about it. Hold up, but think about if you're a writer who only listens to narratives. Let's be honest. Half of those guys don't know ball. They're just watching the nationally televised games every once in a while. They look at Bleacher Report. Oh, Dame had a 60-piece. They're looking through the names of who to pick as an all-star guard. You think they're going to Dame or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I think they're picking Dame.
They're taking Shai because Damian Lillard. Shai has 10 more games played than Damian Lillard with better stats. There's no reason to take Damian Lillard over Shai, and they have the exact same record.
I think it's name value, bro.
Shai averages 30.8 on 51%. Damian Lillard averages 30.1 on 46%, bro. Big difference. Shai is much more efficient. Shai is much more clutch.
I'm not
He's the
saying
clutchest
you're
player
wrong.
in the league
You're
up
right.
there along the
You're right. But
it's
I'm saying
it's not Damian Lillard. It can't be Damian Lillard. I'm sorry. And the team Damian Lillard has around him, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, like they have a much better team, and they're in the same spot as the Thunder. That's ridiculous. No,
I know it's ridiculous. I'm just telling you what might happen.
Shai is also one of the best defensive guards in the league, by the way. Averages 2 steals and a block per game, on top of being a more efficient scorer than Damian Lillard, a better player in the fourth quarter than Damian Lillard. I'm taking Shai. He's also shooting 91% from the free throw line. Ridiculous numbers. Like, bro, come on.
I think I'm in agreement. I think Shai deserves it, but I would not be surprised if I were
That's
to wake
all
up
I'm saying,
and see
bro.
the media.
I would stop watching the NBA. I would actually, if Shai doesn't make the reserves, I'm done watching the NBA. That's just, I'm not going to swear.
Injury replacement, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous if Damian, and I'm not hating on Dame when I say this, if Damian Lillard makes it over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the reserve spot, that is the biggest fleece I've ever seen in my life. Shai is literally better than Damian Lillard in every aspect of the game this season. I don't care what anybody says.
You heard what the man.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And Shai screams all-star, by the way. That bag in an all-star game is going to be insane.
How many assists?
You want to know how you?
I just want to see the stat discrepancy because Dame's
he's averaging 5.6. Yeah, David's 7.4. Shai is 5.6, but Shai is a shooting guard. He's not a point guard.
I still think that's a big enough reason for these casuals to look at the names. I'm telling you, these
two
bro.
Assists difference?
Do you know who's voting on this? It's like Stephen A. Bro.
If it does, I'm
Damian
gonna be
Lillard
pissed.
is an all-star.
I'm gonna be pissed.
You want to tell me that if Damian Lillard doesn't belong in the all-star?
That's what he's gonna say, bro.
If they take
is that brother Damian Lillard?
If they take Dame over Shai, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm actually gonna riot, bro. I will find out where these media people live. Like that. Nah, that's like, listen, I understand. I'm not hating on Dame. He should be an all-star, but he's a wild card spot. I'll take him over De'Aaron Fox for sure. De'Aaron Fox is not making it this season anymore. Sucks to be him. But Damian Lillard was injured, and Shai is still putting up better numbers than him. Shai has had a much more games played, and Shai is still putting up better numbers than him.
I also think that the Shai love, considering that it's been going on all season long at this point, compared to Damian Lillard's, who it feels like just had a resurgence. Not to mention the fact that that a few days ago the Lakers came back from down 20, and Pat Bev had to hit him with the "Is my watch broke?" because Damian Lillard was like, "I'll beat you." I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Play basketball.
The Thunder
and then look at it.
The Thunder and the Trailblazers have the exact same record, 23 and 25, and the Trailblazers have a significantly better roster than the Thunder. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, then by the way, at the trade
deadline,
right, they need themselves a rim protector.
Yeah, Nurkic is still on that team.
I preach it.
I saw
that guy is mid, bro.
I saw a graphic of like the stat lines, the best stat lines, and it was like, oh, Nurkic had 25 tonight. I was like, what? Why is this Nurkic man still on that team? Why are they still?
Is he one of the greatest Trailblazers of all time?
Bro,
maybe
he might be top 15.
That's
he
crazy.
might be top.
He's in
15.
contention.
He's a top 3 center of all time.
Brandon
on the
Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, Bill Walton, right? Clyde. We're showing our youth here.
Scottie Pippen. Is Scottie Pippen on that?
Yeah, he was.
They'd go
Zach Randolph.
As a Blazer, though?
Who else?
Who
else?
That is true, though.
One of the Stoudemires.
Who else?
Stoudemires on there.
They did have maybe Arvydas Sabonis? Bro, Nurkic might be up there, dog.
Yeah, Sabonis is there. Dude, that's hilarious. Best Blazers players.
I'm looking up their total win shares.
Look up their roster right now.
On Basketball Reference, the guys with the total win shares. It's Clyde, Dame, Terry Porter, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Terry Porter. That's who I was looking for,
Wallace,
Terry Porter.
Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams.
He
Now we're
went to
getting
Longwood.
nasty. Jim
Yeah.
Jim
Jerome
Paxson is the eighth in win shares.
Yo, nah, serious question. Who's winning in a 1v1? Jim Paxson or Yusuf Nurkic?
Oh my god.
I think I'm genuinely,
No,
I'm not even lying when I say
take
this. I
Nurk.
think I'm the first person on earth to ask that question. I think that's
Oh,
the first
God.
time. If you're listening to this episode, that is the first time that question has ever been asked.
No, for
Who
real,
is
though.
winning? Jimmy Paxson or whatever his name is, or Yusuf Nurkic?
Yeah, I think I'm
That-
taking Nurk. He
I'm
has
taking
he
Nurk.
has
I'm taking Big
he has
Nurk.
an offensive bag. The issue is it's so out of place for what he needs as a basketball
To
player.
be fair, he broke his leg. He did break
Well,
his
no,
leg.
no,
Nick
no.
Batum
He's
is-
a very good NBA player. He's
Oh,
just
Nick
not
Batum.
a fitting center.
Nick Batum.
Is Nick Batum a
Nick,
top
Nick
15
Batum
Trailblazer?
deserves a spot over Nurk for that one shot he hit against the Rockets to send it to that Lillard buzzer beater.
Jerome Kersey deserves to be top 5 strictly because he went to Longwood University. I don't care about
Is that the
anything
only
else
dude
that he
came
did
out
in
of
his.
Longwood? Pause.
Yo, that was so, bro. Like, you got to
No,
think about what
no.
you say sometimes. This guy asked if he was the only person to come out of Longwood.
Hoop, this is for all the
That's
highlights
on
that
me.
we've had on this
That's on me.
podcast. For all the highlights we've had on LePodcast, that right there is the biggest low
I'm
light
sorry.
of your career.
Oh my God.
He straight out of Longwood, like that's crazy. That's really wild that you.
No,
just
he didn't
said
even
that.
say straight out of.
No,
He said
no,
Yeah,
come
no,
out.
I gave him.
no,
I know.
relax,
I gave him the PG version. I gave him the PG version.
Dude.
I'm sorry. Jesus. Anyway,
See, this is why English is a stupid language, bro. Too many things
This is why
mean
pause
This
is
is
different
why
what
things.
it
this is why social media is terrible for our generation.
I'd
Oh,
hate
God.
being a
We're clipping
secondary
that.
English speaker. You slip
we're
up
clipping
one
that.
way.
We're clipping that, and I'm sending it to
No,
Longwood
no.
and be like,
my
hey,
God.
hey. I follow Longwood's men's basketball team. They follow me. You know what I'm saying? Get you some little clout over there in Farmville, Virginia. Jesus Christ.
All right, we should probably look to end the episode now.
Is
We're just talking
Nurkic
about a
better
whole lot
than
of nonsense.
Kiki Vanderway?
I only
Michael
know that guy because
Thompson?
of 2K. I know who Kiki is because of 2K. He had a nasty card. I think it was like a 91 Amethyst or something back in like 2K16. I don't even
Hey.
remember.
Two-time All-Star in Denver.
I need.
Oh,
2K
he
to
was
cons-
tough, bro. He was averaging 29 a game.
Yeah, bro. If you have a 2K card, you're nice.
I need 2K to seriously consider getting rid of the 99 2000 Trailblazers. I don't know why in the classic teams they have certain teams that are there.
Oh, yeah,
that
it's
just
like
don't
the
need
Because
to
game
be
is
Kobe,
there.
Shaq dunked on them, bro. That series, bro.
Yeah, but that's the only reason why they're there. I'm just like, bro, like I don't
And
want
they
to use.
still don't have. They got to get those
Pippen.
like the Houston Harden squad. They got to do more.
You know what
recent-
makes me
Yeah, bro.
really feel really old before we end the episode? When I go on the new 2Ks and I see a classic team of a team I grew up watching, and I'm just like, what? Like what? What do you mean the
Yeah.
16 Cavs? Like what? Like come on, bro.
What do you
Put
mean
them
the
in the
19
classic team.
Raptors?
Yeah, I'm like, dog. That like I vividly remember that. Like anyway, we're probably gonna end the episode off here.
Last thing, Kiki Vanderway. I knew there was some more importance to him. He is like the first player to actually use a step back. I thought I heard that somewhere. I just confirmed
Kemba
it.
Walker before Kemba Walker. But thank you for listening to episode. What episode are we on? I think we're on 44.
45.
Nah, 45.
45.
Episode 45. This was a great
Rest in
one.
peace, Kobe.
Oh yeah, recipes Kobe. It was his 3-year death anniversary. Recipes to everybody on that flight, on that helicopter. Terrible day for the basketball community. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys in episode 46.